A very good morning to all of you once again. Let me take you around to this new era when eicher is 100% connected. And with 100% connectivity is what we are talking about, 100% performance. Mr. Agarwal spoke about the vision of driving modernization in the commercial transportation in India. And what does it mean? What does it entail? The modernization entails building the performance to the next level. And what's limiting our performance today? There are a couple of factors, but two large areas. One is fuel cost, which accounts for almost 50% of the total operating expenses in India. And second area is of the utilization of the trucks and buses. And that asset utilization, if you compare with the developed world outside, it's maybe 60% to even half. So the trucks and buses in India typically run about 30 to 40% of the time, whereas that's pretty low. And that's one of the reasons why the logistics costs in India are high. And then we all know about the impact of diesel. eicher has been a leader in fuel efficiency. We call ourselves mileage ka badshah. And we were mileage ka badshah, we are mileage ka badshah, we will remain mileage ka badshah. But that's on the technical part of the product, the capability of the product. Now, how do you really extract the true potential, the real potential? There are various factors for that. One of the factors is the drivers who drive it. Another factor is how do you plan the trips, for example, for asset utilization. You need to have your trucks running, your next loading happening much more smoothly, your unloading times getting reduced, your bottlenecks on the way getting reduced. So how do you make it possible? So what we believe is that there is a possibility through this 100% connected solutions. Have an excellent new generation trucks and buses, couple it with the advanced telematics, and another very important element is the enhanced ecosystem, which will make it possible that people are able to extract the best out of these better technology. Let's have a quick look at it. Next generation trucks and buses, and coupled with the advanced telematics, and the one that eicher offers has three key modules to enhance uptime, to ensure that the fuel efficiency is extracted to the best possible time. And there is other logistical efficiency or the safety improvements through trip management. The most crucial element comes in that every transporter, every owner would like to extract the best out of that. How do you do that? There are possibilities today, especially when we talk about the new industry first uptime center that eicher has set up. And that's available now with these services free for 2 years, the entire uptime services. So this ecosystem which has been generated will further enhance and help the customers extract the best out of the new generation trucks. Similarly, there are lots of fuel management services. Supposing there are a couple of drivers, say there are 5 drivers in a particular fleet running 5 trucks, and one or two trucks are not doing as well as the other trucks. So those drivers may need the inputs, they may need the training, and somebody should analyze that. And then there are system specific segment-based services which we are offering here. So it's a combination of good trucks and buses, advanced telematics, and a backup support ecosystem which makes it 100% connected. Let's have a quick look at these 3 modules of fuel management, uptime management, and trip management. Fuel, which is our strength of eicher trucks and buses, what we have seen is that the driving habits of people, and there were a couple of examples that we had, that there were some drivers in one of the customers who were flying in the same route, and they were idling, and some of the drivers had a habit of idling for a long period. And at a particular spot, maybe they were stopping out there and with keeping the engine on and not moving anywhere. So those kind of analytic reports also help. Another very simple driving habit methodology is that we get a sweet spot thumbs up sign on the dashboard for the driver to give a live real-time feedback. And that same live real-time feedback is converted into a tripwise score that this driver was driving with 80% best methodology, best sweet spot. This driver was driving with 90%. This driver was driving by 60%. So you can actually help the driver get retrained or trained, or the feedback can be given, or even incentivization can help. So there are multiple kind of reports and possibilities by analyzing driving habits. And there are many other reports which help in analyzing the fuel consumption. Maybe if you take this route, then this is the kind of fuel consumption. Maybe the distance is smaller. And maybe if you take a slightly longer route, the total fuel consumption is still lower. So there are many such kind of reports, and which can help analyze, and that analytic system and our fuel management system and our ProPilot program, which helps the drivers get trained and retrained on how to drive it more efficiently and effectively. Just to share some figures and data, from one driver to the other driver, we have seen differences as high as 19%, 23%. Those kind of differences between one best driver to another best driver. We are not talking about a bad driver and a good driver. So it is all possible to extract the maximum potential. So some customers do it, but then if they have to do it all the time with all their fleet, smaller customer, larger customer, it has to do it. So this 100% connected solution helps in making it possible. Let's move on to uptime services, which is a very unique offering. Industry first uptime center of eicher has been launched, introduced a couple of months ago. And what it helps doing is there are lots of sensors in the new trucks. So those data is getting captured there. So if supposing there is a truck which is say having some fault or some trouble traveling in a far location, and immediately it will send automatically a signal there to our 24/7 call center, from where our uptime center will immediately access it and will be able to guide and help. Even before the service van reaches there is a possibility with this 100% connected vehicles to guide the driver what to do, what exactly to do. And more importantly, and which is absolutely first time in India, is a predictive diagnostics process, which means before even the driver has noted it, there are several alerts sometimes the driver may get, and the driver may ignore. There could be more alarms the driver may ignore, or driver may consciously try to continue the trip. That's the time when our uptime center will proactively contact the driver, and that has started with the connected vehicles, that how to predict what can go wrong and prevent the potential failure. So that's something which is going to take the uptime to a higher level. What we have seen is that over 20% enhancement in the running. So if some trucks are running at 30 to 40% of their potential, 20% means that 6 to 8% more is what they can run in a month, which is substantial. And that is needed today when the industry is down. It's all the more important that all the logistics owners, all the transporters, they are able to extract the best, sweat their assets to the maximum. And then we have this trip management. So apart from the typical track and trace processes, what we have done with these 100% connected vehicles is that there are some segment-specific services. Today, e-commerce is an upcoming industry. Like there's one example of e-commerce where they use lots of softwares. So we have had a collaborative platform with this eicher Live now, where we can collaborate with those partners and help the e-commerce players to connect up their system and use our own existing hardware, which eicher is giving in the new trucks, to enhance their logistics efficiency. Which means if I get to know where my load is, where my truck is, how to optimize it, especially in the last mile delivery sections, it enhances it in a substantial way. More importantly, it helps people to provide these services which are not possible to provide in the past. Or otherwise, if you see a typical e-commerce truck driver, he would be carrying two mobiles. One of the mobile is only carrying one telematics device of one player, another is a telematics device and the phone call with his own owner. And maybe there's a third unit which is already fitted. So all that goes away, makes it simpler, makes it feasible for people to integrate seamlessly. Similarly, let's take example of buses. So every person, all the parents want the safety, security of their kids. So there is possibility of those RFID tags, and we have partnered with the collaborative platform. We make it possible for parents to see that where the buses, where the kids are, and that enhances the safety and security. These are the three key modules of fuel management, uptime management, and trip management to take the performance levels to much higher levels.